Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing well. My name's Ted Davies, and this is actually a special edition of TED Talks. I usually do a show on Thursdays called Ted Talks Timepieces. This is kind of we're moving it around a bit because Tuesday I really didn't have anything. We had a little bit of emergency at the house. So we're changing a little bit, but we're going to be talking about time travel today and how I time travel a little bit here. And it's to my childhood, actually. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. First off, I want to say a very happy birthday to my son, AJ. It's his 25th birthday today. So I want to wish him just much success today and enjoy yourself and be safe. And, welcome to the first or the second quarter of your life. And hopefully it's a long, happy, healthy life, my man. And I love you dearly. And one of the big things about being a dad in that was I could now make my kids watch Star Wars with me, and that was something that was such a paramount thing for me. My daughter and my son were inundated with Star Wars. I don't think they can get away from it now. It's part of their DNA, and we're going to be talking a lot about Star Wars toys, the effect that Star Wars had on me as a child, and that's pretty much the time traveling I'm talking about. Of course, I'm always going to be talking about watches. This is kind of a pseudo TED Talks Timepieces, TED Talks time traveling. So we're going to kind of go through it a little bit here and just see how it rolls. Today, I have in my coffee cup, Indian River Roasting Company, of course, does all the coffee for us here on the station. And it is my Waking Dragon brand, and it is, or blend, and it is fantastic. Love it. Let's find out a little bit more about Indian River Roasting Company, and let's see it. Here at Ted Davies Artistry, we take coffee seriously, and so does our sponsor, Indian River Roasting Company. It's fair trade, organic, and they're artisans just like me. The only difference is I use watercolor and ink, and they use coffee beans, and I enjoy it all through my day. So do yourself a favor, go to the description when you like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Find Indian River Roasting Company's website, use the promo code CaffeinateTed2021, and save 10% on your purchase. Yeah, use that promo code CaffeinateTed2021 when you go to their website, IndianRiverRoastingCompany.com. You can find it in the description. Save 10% on your caffeine. And check them out because they are awesome, and they are just such great sponsors. We really love them dearly. We also want to talk about John Cashman, Cashman's Comics in Bay City. Been there 25 years. He's got a sale going on until September 4th. Check out everything he's doing online, Cashman's Comics, and let's look at his promo.
And every day I wake up feeling the same way now. Need to find something to believe. Every night the dreams we made, they're haunting my head now.
Yeah, check out John Cashman at Cashman's Comics in Bay City. Like I say, he's been there 25 years. He's not doing anything wrong because he does it very well as a comic book source. So check out everything he's doing. He supports indie comic creators. He's got my books there, and he's just terrific. He ships nationwide, so check him out and say hi to Petey the dog and tell them both that TED Talks sent you. We are also proud affiliates of the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. Check out everything we're doing. We're a group of creatives that help creatives build their business. 7 days a week, entertainment and education. And check out everything that we're doing on here. Today, we start out with TED Talks, and we move through the day after we take a break from exhaustion from me. 7 p.m. tonight, we've got the Comic Book Spectrum, and I think it's the best show on the broadcasting network besides my own. And they're awesome. Fab Four, they do a great job on the comic book collecting, but also on the reviews. The reviews are just second to none. Check out everything that they're doing on that. Then later on in the evening, we have Stupid O'Clock, and then Last Man Standing, if I'm not mistaken, afterwards. So check out everything we're doing on the station, because it's well worth your time. And I think as a creator, you should be following us on Facebook and following everybody else on the YouTube channels that are there on that page. And of course, take a snapshot of that. I'll give you a second. Okay. So, yeah, so there's a lot going on right now, just nostalgia wise, I think, with, whenever your kids, if you're fortunate enough to have children, whether you're, they're biological or they're adopted or they're stepkids or whatever, they, I know it feels, on their birthdays and stuff. It does. It's a special day, it's a special day. And being that it was, or it is Aaron's birthday, I wanted to make sure that I talked a little bit about time travel, about when I was a kid and what we did, and before I got to indoctrinate my kids with Star Wars. So what I wanted to tell you about today was, since time's kind of relative, I mean, whether we're talking timepieces or whether we're just talking about life timelines, or, time is fleeting, right? So try to bring back as many memories as we can. And that's what these things do. The toys that I have, that I've collected, I know everybody says, oh, you're just a big kid. Well, you know what? Yeah, I am. And I'd rather embrace it than fight it. So, but let me show you real quick here on how we started with this whole thing. So in 1977, Star Wars came out, and it was obviously the blockbuster hit that everybody knows it was. And I want to actually, before I start off here, good morning, Donna and Carl, by the way, and all the ships at Say too. We've got a few other people on Facebook and that. Thank you guys for stopping in. This book here, actually, this comic book I was just getting ready to read-ish. I was 6 years old. Checkers Drugstore had this in Detroit on Finkel Street, and it was this was it. This was the pinnacle. This was the beginning of my journey with Star Wars, my journey reading, my journey appreciating books. And I really credit obviously to my parents, for everything they did for me. But this was a big, big book for me. This was it. The colors, as an artist, I was always drawing as a kid, but there's just something about this. And I've had this since I was 6 years old, and I'm surprised it survived. But it's in my collection, and it's, priceless to me. So, and I know that there's a lot of people that, oh, it's not the first edition, it's a reprint, whatever. Who cares? I don't care. It is the, the beginning of the journey for me. As things rolled on, my dad was a big book collector, and that's where I think I get it from. Huge book collector. Had a great library. He was always signing books to make sure I knew when I received them or who they were from. And anyway, so my dad ended up getting me the first of the Star Wars books, and it was just, these hardback books are, you can see the wear on it. I read this thing front to cover, or back cover to back. I mean, throughout all my years growing up, it was just such a, and now it's, it's mine. I'm going to hand it down to the kids once I move on. I'm not reading it anymore. But yeah. But this whole series of books, and I'm going to go into the toys in a second, but the whole series of books was very important, for me as developing, seeing how things were put together as a story. I didn't really understand it until later in life, but this one really helped me a lot, because a comic book was one thing. Learning sequential art was, years, decades ahead, or, later down the road. But this one here, the story of Star Wars, this book, this small book, was such an influence. It was a huge leap for me growing up, because it came with the tape, and I could read with the story. And that made a huge difference. After seeing the movie, this is before VHS tapes and before it was out, and you had to go to the movie theater. That was the only way we could watch these things. But this type of format really changed the way I saw books in that. And anyway, so you can see them. They're very dear to me, and I try to stress to people that everybody's got their different ways of learning, And you know what? If it means that the kids are on YouTube or whatever, however you learn is great too. But make sure that you've got an outlet that's inspiring to you while you're learning. This helped me big time. This made me a better reader. Um, and it really made me appreciate audiobooks too. And I didn't realize it till later on, you know, going on trips, listening to audiobooks and that. I look back on it now. I'm like, wow, man, I was really at a young age brought to this medium pretty quickly. But yeah, anyway, so that's a really big one. I don't even know if anybody even has these anymore, but the story of Star Wars, the tape and everything. I don't have the tape any longer. I might check out on eBay. Maybe I can grab it. But yeah, very influential. And then, of course, The Empire Strikes Back. This is the last one. I never got the Return of the Jedi. I was getting older. You know, you can't. It was teenagey, you know, and all that, and not rebellious per se, but this was the last one of the last books that Dad got me for Star Wars, and I went through it. It wasn't as abused as the other one because I was older, but yeah, very cool, and it was very much a staple, and it still is in our home. So, all right, let me read some of these comments here today. You were graduating high school? Well, yeah, probably were. Carl, I know that my brothers were all and my sister, they were the ones that took me to the show. They were the ones that got me into Star Wars. They waited in line with me, and they were, you know, influential in getting me to the point where, I mean, I blame them for it. You know, let's just say what it is. But I'm glad they did it. I'll never ever forget the feeling of being in the movie theater when it all happened, and it was just mind blowing. That is a whole TED Talks in itself. That experience, I remember the seats. I remember how small I was. I was so small, and it was a huge theater. It must have packed probably 500 people. It was a massive theater for the time. So, yeah, we are geeks. That's good, Carl. I'll take it. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring in on the second camera here the first release of the action figures that happened in 1977. I think it was 77, 78. These are the originals that I had growing up, so they're not perfect. They're not. I haven't done anything with them yet as far as I'm not going to restore them, but I haven't really cleaned them at all. There's a couple things. I'll show you the two ones that I had, the first ones that came out, and that was when I got the comic book. The R2-D2 and the C3PO. Let me bring those up real quick. Now these two, this one, you're going to notice that this this R2-D2 is a little bit different. This is actually, I changed out a few things back in the day, and I actually put new stickers on it, but the stickers were from R2-D4, so it doesn't look right. It is the original case that that R2-D2 had, and yeah, so that's the original one from 1977, but with different stickers on it. So anyway, you know, you got to ruin it when you're a kid, right? But I'm not going to sell these anyway. These are, you know, these are for me. And of course, C3PO is missing his hand. I don't know what happened to his hand. I really don't know. I'm thinking that, you know, Annie, spoiler alert, Annie created him. So maybe he chopped his hand off as Darth Vader later, kind of like Luke. Wrong hand, I think. But in any case, these are the two first action figures I ever owned. And this is... I remember it vividly. It was just, I was everything that they would want in a marketing for a kid. We went through. I don't have a lot of the capes, the plastic capes that they've got, but it doesn't really matter to me anymore. Ben Kenobi, Han Solo, and this is, I think they called this the small head Solo because he's got such a small head on him. Tusken Raider. Obviously, Leia. Some of these are, I know, not really rare, but they're rare enough. Obviously, the Stormtrooper. Chewie. We all know Chewie. And I know that later on, let's see what I got here. I did have, there he is. There he is. There's the man of the hour and Darth Vader. And this one, I do have the cape. So that's cool. And so, and I've got a backup. One of the things too is that over the years, I've gotten backups of certain characters in case I have to replace the parts or whatever. I'll give you an idea here too. You can see Luke lost his head. I don't know what happened to him, but I tried to glue him. So but that was the original one, the third action figure I got over the years. But you can see, I mean, they're well played with, and that was the whole idea of it, right? I would rather that you enjoy it. There's some people that, they put their comic books away, they don't touch anything, and that's fine. They put their toys away, they don't touch anything. It's all in packages, and that's fine. But this is history, for me. So now one of the ones that I really appreciated was the Luke X-wing. Now this one I think came out in '78. This was like the second series of what they were doing, and then R2D4, which we were talking about earlier. He's the one that by the Jawas blew up, that they were going to buy, but then they ended up trading it for R2D2. And then the Death Star droid. One of the things about these ones is the foil paint rubs off on them. So this one's actually pretty good. This is not a bad condition, but these are all played with. This is what I wanted to show you. And this is how I'm not saying I sit down and I, play Star Wars like I used to do, but it's just the remembrance of it, and that's what you want to do. You want to just kind of take it all in and just kind of remember the good stuff. I think it's an important part of who we are, because you need to know where you came from to know where you're heading. Not necessarily have to stay there, but okay. So having said that, okay, so before we bring in the other stuff, I'm gonna move these over, move them back actually. Now, one of the things that I really remember as a kid is land speeders. So this is the first land speeder I ever had. I purchased, I remember it vividly. So these are both from 1977 production run. This one here is, I bought this, or my parents actually bought it, and it's not clean, as you can see. And all the stickers are janky because you had to put them on back then. You had to put all these stickers on. You can see I was trying to be careful, but I was a kid. I was 6 or 7. So, but with it, this was bought at Kresge's. Actually, it wasn't even Kmart. This was Kresge's at Livonia Mall when I was a kid. And I remember the argument my mom had because she didn't want to buy me another toy. But, I was a brat, so I ended up getting my way. And so yeah, this one here is the original that I had, but you'll notice that it doesn't float. If you see it, the springs are kind of worn on it. So I ended up picking up another one at a garage sale, and this one actually has the springs and everything. So I'm going to take this out, and then I'm going to reconfigure this one to make sure it's in prime condition. I'm not selling them. I just want to make sure it's done, and then I'll put it in case. And that one I won't play with, but it's still cool. I still love it. And the land speeder was kind of the consummate vehicle. It was, I think, one of the first ones they brought out, and I just love it. So yeah, so that was the first of the season of the series in '77, if I think. Okay, let me get over to the other thing real quick. Hold on. So in '78, they started bringing out larger units. So this R2D2, they made one of these into a remote control, which is pretty kick-ass. But I wanted the one that didn't have remote control because it was a clicker, and this was really cool. These were a little bit larger comparatively to the action figures, and it was just a really cool thing. I mean, having a little bit larger size, they had little things where you push this, and then the back door opens, and then you've got the files that pop out. I don't have all the files, but it was just cool. It was, kicking up the imagination. I remember Bionic Man and all the things that they had out for the Bionic Man and stuff. So this is right up my alley when I was a kid. The Bionic Man had the eye that you could see through, and had the arm that you could take off and do. It was really, really cool. But these were really neat. This is an original from, like I said, '78 from the release, and I've had this thing forever, and I love it. It still has the clicking mechanism on the top, and doesn't make any noises or anything, but it was still cool. It sits up on my shelf behind me when I'm doing my interviews, my shows, my broadcasting, and this is one of my favorites. R2D2, great character, just an awesome character. So in '78 and then throughout, they had you I say, I guess 78 through 84, they were trying to keep you motivated because it took you 4 years, 3 or 4 years before they would have the next movie, right? So you had to like do things that were, you had to keep the people occupied. You had to keep the kids occupied. So, and the best, I think the best out of the series is Empire Strikes Back. Empire Strikes Back is like the pinnacle of I think the go-to Star Wars movie. Everything happened in that movie. So in that, when these were released, this was this was kind of the second draft, if you want to, or a little bit more. But and I'll read your comments in a couple minutes, guys. But with that, they had the new Lukes, they had the new Han Solos, they had the Hoth ones. These were really cool because in Detroit, summertime or the wintertime, it got pretty depressing, I got to say. The snow, it was cold, it was, and there weren't, growing up in Detroit, I didn't really have a whole lot of friends outside of school. And I went to a parochial school, so a lot of the kids didn't live by me. They were all like, the parents would drive them in, and it was just different. But a lot of these got me through because when it snowed, man, it was Hoth Planet, and it was on. So, and I would be out there in my snowsuit and my moon boots and everything else. I'd be out there for hours. Mom would actually have to come out and come get me to warm up, But that was really a crucial part of my growing up. If I wasn't drawing or if I wasn't watching Spider-Man or whatever on TV, this is it. This was the go-to. These were the things. One of my favorite things, and I don't have the harness and everything else for it, was the Tauntaun. One of my favorite. These things were awesome. It had a little trap door on it so you could put the character in, and it sat in. It was just a really cool thing. I have to get online and find a few of these things though to finish these off to remember them the way they were. But yeah, still cool. I know I'm geeky, but whatever. A lot of these additional ones that they brought out, like was a boss and let's see, Walrus Man and Hammerhead. I mean, a lot of these were pretty, they had a lot of different ones. Some of these people that collect the Hammerhead, if you can look at the eyes, some of the ones that they collect have the eyes are different. Somebody was having fun in the shop when they were painting them. They have different eyes or different looking eyes. And a lot of people collect these for that. And they can be really rare on some of them. So keep that in mind if you're collecting. Snaggletooth, this one's in pretty good shape. If there was any of the ones I would probably get rid of, it'd probably be him. I'm not real stuck on him, and of course Bespin, Cloud City Leia with the original plastic. It's got some tear on it, so I'm sure something got to it. Maybe a dog over the years. I'm not sure, but like I said, I'm not getting rid of any of these. Guido, awesome. Mr. Colt 45 himself. I mean, Lando rocked, though. He's such a badass character anyway. And then Lobo, I think, is this in Cloud City. But those ones were kind of they were the beginning. But the signature one that I really enjoyed the most out of all of them was Boba Fett. That is one of my favorite characters. I'm going to keep him forever. He was well played with, and the paint's chipping or rubbed off and whatever, but this is it. It doesn't have the rocket that fires, but it is when this one came out, I was just geeked. I couldn't get this one fast enough. But yeah, this is one of my favorite. Again, their guns and everything else I've lost over the years. I'm sure I can find them. I know that there's reproductions you can get. I'm not a real big, about that. I don't care about it being, same serial numbers or anything like that. It's like whatever. But Carl says when I was young, play with rocks and sticks. Well, that's nice, I mean, that's nice. Hey, rocks and sticks are cool. You're using your imagination. It's important. It's important. One of the things too that they reissued a few things, and since it's my son's birthday, I want to bring out one of the things he bought me. So I think like I said, he was indoctrinated with a lot of the things being from Star Wars. And he came home one day after finding this. Let me move these out of the way. After finding this at he was so proud of himself. I think he found it at a garage sale. It was a reissue in 1995 X-Wing that they brought out. I don't know if it was I'm assuming it was something they probably did for limited edition. And it's the toy. It's very close to what I had when I was growing up. I don't have it any longer, and I also had a TIE Fighter. The TIE Fighter was awesome too. This one's got the stickers are peeling off, and that I'm going to end up probably reconditioning it eventually in time. But it was still, I don't think I know I won't ever get rid of it. But it was special to me that he was only probably 1995 is when they issued it. I think he was probably 6 when he found it at the, he was out with, I don't know if he must have been with Christine at the garage sale. But, having him, purchase, not purchase it, but, having him pick it out and thinking of me is, that's a priceless, that's something I can never replace, and it means a lot to me. So, like I said, it's a little worse for wear, but you know what? It's gold for me. So, love it. So yeah, I mean that's the story. I mean that is time travel to me. I think that you've got some people do it for all different, they can do all different kinds of things. You see guys with cars, motorcycles. I mean, I time travel with those too. But it's pretty much up to you. You figure out your game plan of how you time travel. And it might even be just a picture that you remember the people that were there, and what you remember about them in a good way. But there's there's a lot to be said for that. I think that we're living in an age right now, and I know as I'm getting older, I'm getting more nostalgic, but we're living in an age right now. I think it's really important because everything's digital. We don't really have tangible pictures even on our phone anymore unless you print them out. And it's important that we have that connection with the past in the stories. That's the big thing about it. And that's what I want you to take away from this. There's so many things that, as a creator, writing books and having books published and having things on shelves and people can come by and everything else is great. But, after I'm gone, after all this is done, the stories will still be there and they'll still be on the shelves. Hopefully somebody's reading them and still talking about how they inspired them or whatever. And that's or how they had their parents and they both read the book, and they learned a little bit more about themselves through the crazy stories that I tell. But that's the key. I mean, try to get the memories. First off, get the experiences more than the stuff. Those toys were one thing. My parents spent a fortune on those toys, and I respect that. But it's not about the purchasing of those toys. It's not about that. It's just the memories of it. The experiences are more important to me than anything. So keep that in mind too. If you can balance it and have experiences versus things, then that's awesome. Because I think that you're really, I think that you're really ahead of the game if you think that. I'm not saying that you can't have nice things. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that if a thing inspires you or brings back that memory, then absolutely do it. Absolutely do it. But yeah, there's a lot of really great memories, and I really hope that I showed you a little bit about how to time travel, because I think it's important that people really see what's around them and remember who is around them, and maybe not even have to remember, just be around them. Take time, spend some time with your loved ones, and enjoy it. So hopefully you got something out of that. So thank you for watching Ted Talks, the special episode, Time Travel. Hopefully you guys, say something in the comments. If you guys aren't live, that's fine. Maybe we can have you have comments on the playback, and let me know, how do you time travel? Real quick, though, I also want to time travel with Glenn B. Fleming. We'll be right back in a second. I'm going to show his new promo for the Kirby book, which I really endorse. I think it's in a great format, but also the DVD, the movie that he was fortunate enough to be part of, making it with Jack Kirby in Jack Kirby's home. Uh, check it out because I think you guys are going to be really, really impressed. I'll be right back in a couple minutes.
When they mine an area, they put down yellow tape right across that line. See? And if you walk on the wrong side of that yellow tape, you blow up.
Strange Tales 136. I remember it very clearly, and that was my first exposure to Kirby. And I wanted to show it to people.
Glenn is doing a real service to the people, not only to Kirby's memory, but to the Kirby fans and even people who don't know who Kirby is. You need to check out on Indiegogo what's going on with that. Glenn's done a lot of work on it. It's just fantastic. And anybody who is a Kirby fan, I suggest that you guys pick it up as a present or whatever for the people that are Kirby fans, if you know any. So, and check out everything that Glenn's doing. Glenn B. Fleming is quite a creator, and I'm glad to call him a friend. So, Pete, how you doing, sir? I will check out the Facebook Messenger for Star Wars Watch. We'll repost that too. Pete's a huge fan of Star Wars too. He and I go way back comic book collecting, and he's actually got one of these mint condition Star Wars #1s for me, which I've got to get up there and get it purchased so that I have it for my collection, because that's something that I definitely would love to have a mint condition one too, just for the sake of having it. Isn't that terrible? After I just said about the experiences, don't buy things for experience versus experiences, but treat yourself too. Thank you guys for watching everything that's going on with TED Talks right now. I know that next week we're going to be doing a TED Talks, and we are going to be doing a Truth Mongers, but there's going to be a little bit of a change out. I know Glenn's got still a few things going on overseas right now that he's not going to be able to attend the Truth Mongers next week. But I've got a couple things going on next week. Thursday, we are not going to be doing a TED Talks Timepieces. I'm getting everything ready for fulfillment for my Kickstarter next week, and that's actually what TED Talks is going to be about. On Tuesday, we're going to be talking about fulfillment, the challenges of what I had to go through the last few weeks, trying to get everything organized, the highs, the lows, the people that really stepped up and did the best that they could do to get this thing in production. And yeah, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about building your tribe on fulfillment and getting the products out. So next week is going to be about fulfillment for my Kickstarter for Grim 101. And hopefully you guys can see that journey a little bit for the hour that we're going to talk about with TED Talks. And that'll be a live show. I'm going to show you everything from the Gemini mailers to how I'm packing things to, just to show you how I'm doing it. And, if you have any tips on how to, make it a little bit better for the next one, great. If you've done Kickstarter and, that kind of stuff. So we'll talk about that. The Truth Mongers, I don't know what the list is going to, or what is going to be on the list, on the docket for that. We're still talking about that. And I am looking for a guest appearance of someone. So we're going to be talking to a few people. And so I'm going to see about the schedule on that. And we will talk about that. But Thursday, there will not be any timepieces or TED Talks Timepieces. And the following, we will not be back until I believe the 4th week of September. I've got, because I'm going to be traveling, I've got a lot of things going on in California right now. So after next week, TED Talks is going to be off air broadcasting. Actually, I shouldn't say that. We're going to be producing things and posting things live from our California business adventure, I guess you want to call it, with the optioning of the book. We're going to be doing that, just little tidbits here, little shorts, on how we're doing this and how we're doing that, and why we're doing this and why we're doing that. When we're on the trip, we'll do that, but we're not going to be doing any broadcasting in studio. So that's going to be a little bit different. So I'm not going to be probably back in the broadcasting studio after next week for probably about 3 to 4 weeks. So just so you know, I'm here. And we're proud and happy to have you guys follow along with us on this crazy journey, as we call for our creative lives. So thanks so much, guys. Have a great work day. Have a great evening. Be safe. Do something good for somebody. And we don't do that enough, I don't think. We're going to make the world a heck of a lot easier on everybody if we do. So, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks so much, guys. Let me get to the right promo here. And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.